Previously on...
Am I a Cupid or a god? How much have you had, Kath?
Catherine counted on her fingers.
Never mind. Would you like some water?
Nope. Interesting.
Huh?
I can almost hear liquid sloshing around my brain when I shake my head. Girl, are you really okay? Are you high or some shit? You sure that was fucking alcohol? You didn't choke down LSD or some shit, right, girl? I mean, damn! What the fuck? Okay, what is going on right now? I mean, I don't mind what's happening, but damn, wait, she's drunk, yeah, they're both drunk. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, when you're drunk, you do something, tongue action with someone's mouth, right? But are we going further in? I mean, what's happening? What?
Wine. Yeah, probably because of the wine. Yeah. Candle wax.
Probably that too, yeah, with the mood, yeah.
Spit.
Ow!
That was what it tasted like. Rosa's head began to swoon. Catherine's hand squeezed her right breast. Oh. Tripe. What's with the ominous BGM? What the fuck? Grapes. Plush.
Ooh!
Rosa began to taste more of her. Longing. Regrets. Tears. A sensational flavor she had never tasted before hovered at the edge of her tongue. Suddenly, she was hungry for more. Take it. Rosa savored the taste. She breathed deeply. All mine. Child, I want it. Her heart. I want her heart. Her love is sweet. Listen to my voice, child. Mother? But I'm so hungry. So hungry. Stop! Child! Rosa flung her eyes open. A sinking feeling of menace overcame her. No! Rosa pulled away. She pushed Catherine away from her face. Catherine's eyes snapped open. She startled by Rosa's outburst. Why did you stop? Greedy, selfish bitch. Why? Why? She blinked for a few seconds. A look of horror creeped on her face. What?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean...
No, Kath! Rosa couldn't stand the hurt in her eyes. She was probably blaming herself. Rosa wanted to shout how wrong she was, but the lump in her throat became a rapacious mouth. A tumor had grown inside of her, a parasite. She could feel it pulse and slither inside her neck. She couldn't speak at all. Catherine wobbled off the bed. She wiped her mouth and cheeks with her covered with a thin layer of drool.
I'm so sorry. Rosa, I'm gonna leave now.
Kath?
Good night.
Rosa should have followed her, but when she tried to stand, the floor twirled. She choked at the flavor left in her throat. Sick and cloying, sticky sweet like honey. The taste both repulsed and enticed her. Thick spit leaked out of her mouth. She felt the urge to vomit. This is nothing, Mother. Just a bad after effect of alcohol. No, please don't call me that. It was an accident. Everything is fine. She would talk to Catherine tomorrow, assure her that this was not her fault. Everything was fine. Ooh! Fuck! Okay, it was just a door. Calm down. Okay. There was an urgent knock at Guillime's door. Uh-huh. The clock read 2:15 in the morning. What do you want, bruh? Yo, is this where I sleep? Is this my or bedroom? Damn! That painting, damn! Yeah, looks gorgeous. Anyway, what do you want, bruh? What the... He closed his journal and stood up from his desk. Oh, this is Guli Mei's room. Okay. Alright. Yes, coming. He opens the door. Or he opened the door, I mean. Catherine stood in front of him. Her cheeks stained with hastily wiped tears. Kath? Guli Mei, can we talk? Oh, isn't it quite late? Please, it's urgent. Alright. Guli Mei led her inside. Lady, you smell like my vintage bottle of Bourgogne. I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. Did you get so drunk you actually thought of apologizing first? I didn't think I'd see that day, or the day. Cherie, what's wrong? Catherine's thumb went to her mouth without thinking. How could she even begin to tell Guillime what she had done? Honestly, I was really upset with you today. So despite any good sense, I went and got myself drunk. This time, I dragged Rosa along with me. Things have a tendency to go out of hand when alcohol is involved, as you know. Long story short, I came on to Rosa. You know Rosa? The girl who is almost like my sister? Yes, I may have forced myself on her. And I did the right after she told me she was been abused before. She felt Guillime's hand take her thumb away from her mouth. Kath. She looked at her fingers in horror. Her habits had surfaced again. She thought she had gotten rid of this as she grew up, replacing the nail biting with the meticulous, almost obsessive care of her fingers. My fingers are my livelihood. I must take care of them. Now the nails were chewed down to jagged stumps, and a couple of them have tiny blisters cuts. Kath, can you talk? Catherine's eyes snapped back to Guli Mei, as if he had just materialized in the room beside her. So yes, like I was saying, darling, which is the worst thing? What do you think? This implied incest, my abuse of my best friend, or my infidelity to you? Or if that doesn't count, or cut it, dear, may I divulge to you one last point? I felt something warring when I kissed her. Excitement. If she hadn't stopped me, something else would have. It felt so real. It didn't feel like a mistake. It felt like it had always been there, buried deeply. So much so that it felt like cheating. It was like a craving. I wanted it. It was something I haven't felt with you when we... Why is this happening? I don't know. I don't even know who I am anymore. Kath, you're scaring me. Tell me what's wrong. Would you still want to marry me? Would you still love me If you knew, I wouldn't. I can't even look at myself in the mirror. But I think I know who I am now. I'm a selfish, depraved bitch. I've always been the controlling, jealous lover to you. And just one night of drunken frenzy, I went and took advantage of the two people I care for the most. Not enough wine to justify this. I want to call off the engagement. What? At first, Catherine saw that Guli Mei treated it as a joke. But the panic in his eyes set in immediately. What? I said, I'm calling off the engagement. Well, I refuse. You don't have a choice. I'm leaving tomorrow. No. Not until you tell me what's wrong. Guli Mei's eyes didn't flinch. They were the looks he gave her that melted her heart. They were so sure and steadfast in their care. They were just fighting this morning, a fight she had started as usual. Yet, there was no doubt in his eyes at all. If she were to see the certainty faded away from his eyes, she knew it would break her. Is it about the fighting earlier? Because, Kath, I swear to you, I haven't done anything of the... No! Stop! Hearing him reinstate his devotion to her made it more painful. Tears pooled in her eyes and fell in huge ugly globs. She had been doing so well too. She had thought she could hold it in until she left. She wiped the tears as best she could, but more kept pouring out. It isn't about that. Then what is it? What do you want me to do? Whatever it is, I shall do it. This was so hard. Why did this have to be so hard? Why did she even go here? Because she wanted to see his face. She wondered what it would be like for a cheater to go back to the arms of her lover. Would it change somehow? Did she still love him? How could she even tell? All her emotions were wrapped in a thick layer of guilt. It was hard to distinguish every painful thought. She'd started to sob now. Yes, indeed. Ugly, unflattering snorts came out of her nose. It felt comforting to hold on to guilt. It exists made the hatred towards herself bit less. Kath, please tell me what's bothering you. I don't deserve you. I'm a horrible person. You have to find someone else to marry. Catherine let the word tumble out of her mouth, slightly relieved to be rid of them. She looked tearfully up at Guli Mei to gauge his reaction, but he just stared back at her blankly. Why wouldn't he say anything? Catherine sobbed, fearing the worst. Guli Mei cleared his throat and spoke hesitantly. Could you, repeat that? He cupped his hand to his ear and angled it closer to her face. He apparently hadn't caught any of her heartfelt words. Catherine snarled angrily at him. You idiot! I'm having a breakdown here! But, I don't understand what you said. I said, I have to find someone else because I'm a horrible person! Guli Mei pulled her to him. Oh, that's it? Whatever made you think that, I'll accept that reason. Catherine's tears soaked his shirt.
You don't know what I've done.
Then tell me.
You'll hate me. I guarantee it.
Did you punch a baby?
No.
The inside joke made her laugh out of the blue. She buried her face in his chest in a half-sob, half-laugh. Suddenly her doubts were cleared. Suddenly, she didn't want to marry anyone else. Catherine's arms tightened around Guillime's waist.
I've been taking you for granted, haven't I? I've been arrogant, expecting you to always adjust to me and my whims.
A new fever sprung out of her love for him.
I don't deserve you right now, but I'll work on that if you give me another chance.
First, she would tell him what she had done. Then it would be up to him if he still wanted her. He deserves that decision.
What I did?
But Guillime stopped her with a kiss on her forehead. Tomorrow, after a hearty breakfast and a good night rest, I'll listen to what you have to say. Though, I'm quite sure my answer will be the same. Catherine's face melted in a smile and he beamed at her. My star finally smiles. Catherine wiped her eyes.
I love you so much.
She sighed with content, part of her anxiety put to rest.
I do. I really do.
She whispered that last one under her breath, as if trying to console herself.
Guli Mei?
Yes, dear?
Will you make love to me? Oh! Is this happening right now? What?
Guillime's brow shot up in surprise. Right now?
Yes. No. Well, if you're not ready, later is also fine. Or tomorrow. But since it's already morning, then technically it's today. Right?
Guillime's head tilted slightly, an amused smirk plastered on his face.
Please, take me seriously, Guli Mei. This is important to me. I have to know. I have to make sure.
Make sure of what? Catherine? Guillime held her hand. I think you are tired. And just a little bit barmy. More than usual, I mean. But this is what we will do. Guillime guided the woman to the bed and sat her there. We are going to lay on the bed. I am going to pat your hair until you fall asleep. I shall skip work today. Have that trifling little talk you want. And as such, if you're still in the love-making type of mood, then, mademoiselle, I will take you up on your offer. Catherine's eyes moistened, but then, this time, they were happy tears.
I love you.
Guillime shrugged and lifted Catherine's leg up onto the bed. I love you too. And aren't you lucky?
Save it!
He climbed on the bed beside her. Catherine draped her arms over him. He searched for her hand, brought it up to his lips, and patted it. She closed her eyes and rested her head on his chest, comforted by the warmth of his embrace.
Moncho, can I ask you something?
Huh?
Why do you love me so much?
Guillime mused for a while. Is that a trick question? It feels like a trick question. Catherine whined. All right, I shall humor you for now because you are in such a pathetic state. I love you simply because it's easy to love you, darling. You are my star, my light. You keep me right, always. You make me want to do good by you, to be a better person. You aren't even my wife yet, but the townspeople are already calling you their lady. I may have to hand you the marquisdom myself.
That is only because everyone in town knows who I am.
Oh, I wonder why is that, or why that is. Is it because you help sell vegetables in the marketplace on weekends? Or because you conspire with my cooks to hold impromptu picnics with the locals?
You know about that?
One can only sneak out that much food without getting noticed. Madame, it amuses me how the servants cover for you upon inquiry as well.
It was my idea. They're not to blame.
I know, darling. I know. Guli Mei chuckled and kissed her temple. It goes to show how your presence uplifts everyone's lives, including mine. But honestly, those reasons aren't exactly why. I love you, Kath. I just do. Beyond what I thought I was capable of. Catherine's heart cracked with his last utterance.
If I did something bad, would you still love me?
Yes, I would.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
What if I've hurt an innocent person? What if I've hurt you?
She bit her lip.
What if I was unfaithful?
Guillime stared at her questioningly. Catherine buried her face in his chest. She felt his hand smooth away her hair. He whispered gently into her ear. If you would still have me, come back to me.
Sure.
What happened doesn't matter at all. You are not your mistakes, Kath. Guillime cleared his throat. Suddenly, he seems to have trouble breathing. You have the power to change. How about you? Yeah. How about you, Kath? If I told you that I am not what I say I am, would you?
Huh? What do you mean?
Never mind. It is a silly question.
What? Is something bothering you? Sure?
Guli Mei turned his head away and closed his eyes. Nothing, darling. We should sleep now. Catherine patted away the frown on his brow. She traced his cheek with her fingers.
Guillime, I do love you. Now I'm more than certain. It gives my heart happiness to know for sure. What reminded me was your generosity. You give every bit of yourself to the people you love. Do you know that?
Because I have to, darling.
Well, you have always inspired me, Shell. I have always looked up to you. You treated everyone, no matter their status, with kindness. Never have I met a man more generous and thoughtful about others. A man with so much love to give. And that is why I love you. You are a good man.
But if that's not what I really am. Catherine shook her head.
You can't fake sacrifice, monsieur. I've seen you care for the people in this town. I've seen how you loved me. I don't care much for intention, you see. It's what we actually do that defines us.
Guli Mei paused. His voice choked up in his throat. Not always. Not always. Guli Mei found Catherine's hand on his face and squeezed it. She stretched her neck and kissed his cheek. Catherine, you are always scared I will leave you. But the truth is, I know it is you who will leave me. And it hurts.
What?
You are different. I've loved you for so long. It scares me how deep I have rooted myself. Sometimes I deem it better to end this wretched existence. To save you from...
What are you talking about, Guli Mei? You're not making any sense. Is it your turn to scare me?
I'm sorry. They didn't speak for a while. The air became a little uncomfortable. She could feel Guillime's stressful breathing on her forehead. Catherine wondered what Guli was talking about, but it didn't seem like he wanted to discuss it further. When Guli started to calm down, Catherine thought it was best to sleep and ask him about it the next day. But Guli spoke again. His voice was low and serious. Catherine, do you love me?
With all my heart, Guli Mei. I love you for what it seems like my whole life.
The candle flickered. Guillime slipped his hand on Catherine's hair and gently pushed her face towards his. She closed her eyes and let the sensation of his lips take her. His mouth left sweet trace of her skin, as if washing away her sins, blessing her, anointing her. Catherine tasted salt in his kiss, like the taste of tears. She wanted to take away all his sorrows. Guillime held her tightly, longingly. She drowned herself in his embrace. His palm caressed her neck as he kissed her, sliding down her arm and the curve of her waist. His fingers tugged gently on her skin. Catherine darted her tongue inside his mouth, and Guillime answered it with his own. She wanted it, his every kiss. She felt pleasure to know he was here. No, he was hers, Her hands ran up and down his back as their kiss grew heavier. She felt him get excited, and she moved her hand between his legs.
Ow!